Welcome to the Hook Pod.
I'm Chunk.
And I'm the Chippy.
And I'm Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks for joining us, Matt.
I won't have to introduce you now, Matt.
Okay.
Our special guest today is Matt Walkerden. Matt used to reside in Perth, grew up in Perth, and now he lives in the great southern Albany. We've brought Matt on today to talk about his adventures of fishing all over the state. And Matt has fished in a lot of areas in the state. Done any overseas, Matt?
No. Eaten a bit of seafood overseas, but never caught any.
You've done plenty in WA, though.
Yeah.
Is it on the bucket list to fish overseas?
Wouldn't mind having to go some of those tropical, like always Vanuatu or somewhere like that would have been on the list. PNG or something like that.
Yep.
Probably pretty, out wide, would have been pretty untapped.
Anyway, Matt comes to us because he's a good friend of ours, and I've actually known Matt for about 15 years or more up in Perth. Since I came to Albany, he followed me down here. We've enjoyed doing a little bit of fishing together. Every single minute of every week that Matt can put his boat in and go fishing, he's out there.
Yeah, get the boat in or fish offshore. You've got to have a line in the water. You won't catch fish without a line in the water.
No.
And you brought a boat not long ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago now. Don't get it out as much as I'd like to, but I think that's everybody in Albany or the Great Southern can never fish as much as you like to because of the weather. Probably what keeps our fish stock so great is so restrictive. You only get X amount of fishable days. Out of those fishable days, there's got to be days where you can go out as well.
Yeah.
Correct.
So they've got to be on a weekend. So that really cuts down the window for a lot of people.
You're a bit of a Wedge Island boy. How many years you been going up there for?
Probably 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Dad's had a shack there for that long?
The first couple of years, my dad was a member of the Coastal Angling Club of WA, and they got a club shack up there. And we used that for a couple of years. A friend of ours had a fishing shack that they didn't use anymore, and they gifted it to our family. So
wow.
It was falling to bits.
Is it on a lease or anything like that? Or?
It is now.
It is now, yeah.
Well, probably about the last 15 years. Some bit more revenue for the old WA government. It was free. There was also squatters, and people were still building shacks. And then took it over and said, no more building shacks.
Yep.
They have to be leased.
Yep.
You can't sell your shack. You can only pass it on down your family.
Yep.
Family. Yeah, and then we pay what I think is a very high
council rate
lease now, and you don't really get anything for it. You get your rubbish. There's a rubbish tip there, which they take away your rubbish, but
that's about it.
Yeah. But yeah, we've had to bring our electricity up to code. You have to have flushable toilets. There used to be a lot of long drops.
Oh, really?
Now it has to be flushing, and also had to be. Like if you had gas fittings and that all had to be brought up to code as well.
Yeah.
Wedge is probably the easiest way is between Cervantes and Lancelin.
Oh, yeah.
It used to only be accessible by four-wheel drive. You had to go from Lancelin to Wedge. It was about an hour and a half over a really rough corrugated track, and that kept a lot of people from going there. But there's a bitumen road right into Wedge now, so it's just opened up. Anybody can pretty much drive into there. Yeah. Which has brought a whole new set of changes. You can still go there and still like the old Wedge. At times, if you go there on a quiet weekend or in a winter time or something like that.
Yeah, you just have a few more up there in the summer and that now because it's easily to get.
It's all rainwater tanks, isn't it?
Yeah.
When I was young, we used to do a lot of abalone diving. And now all of Wedge down to Moore River is a no-take zone for abalone.
Yeah, right.
I think they found that it was a breeding area or something like that, so they just no-take.
Oh.
A lot north of Wedge, there was reefs that me and my family and our friends had fished for 30-odd years. And then one day I was there and a ranger pulls up and he goes, "What are you doing, mate?" I said, "I'm fishing." And he goes, "This is a marine park and there's totally no fishing here." And I said, "Mate, I've been fishing here for 30 years. Only catching herring off the beach."
Not anymore.
Not anymore. He goes, "If I catch you doing it again, you're going to get a fine." So that was the end of that.
Obviously as the population's gotten bigger and that in the state, it's they start cutting back because there's too many people doing in the same
it's just
places and that.
I don't know. Like if something's part of your lifestyle for 30 years, and then you go, "I'm going to change rules." Maybe you talk to those people and say, "Look, okay, you can have a permit or something to keep fishing here." Or I don't think there was ever any monitoring of the amount of people that fish there or the biomass getting removed or anything like that. It was just somewhere someone's drawn a map and said, righto,
put a line in.
Yeah, we need to make this amount of space, no take zones, so let's go here, 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 here. Yeah, but as a kid, we roamed Wedge Island near the place like the back of our hand.
Yep. And you launch boats there, everything like that?
We never had a lot of money when I was growing up. Dad could buy like a second-hand four-wheel drive pretty cheap, and load all those kids in there. I got 3 sisters, so there's always the 4 of us and a dog.
Yeah.
Throwing in the 4-wheel drive, all our gear, and plus always like a bit of tin or something like that to go back on the shack when you got up there.
Yeah.
And
Do a bit of
and
maintenance.
we could go and
repairs.
stay up there 3-4 weeks. We just
Self-sufficient.
Yeah, and
Really?
it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's gold. Is that the most remote place you've sort of been fishing and camping?
So when I was a young bloke, worked as a jackaroo on El Questro Station up in Connemara.
Yep.
And then I did a caretaking job on a place called Diggers Rest, which is just out of Wyndham. I was out there by myself, and through the wet, I'd go down to the King River, which runs pretty close to the homestead of Diggers Rest, and fish for barra.
Yeah, right.
That's probably about the most remote.
Did you catch any?
Yeah. Got a lot. There's a lot of barramundi in those rivers up there. Yeah. But all that El Questro, the Chamberlain, Pentecost and all that, I was lucky enough, as I was a jackaroo, because El Questro at the time was transitioning to a tourist station from a cattle station.
Yeah.
And I used to take some people fishing. I was a tour guide.
Really?
Yeah. So
When was that?
I was
when you were
18.
18.
Yeah.
1980 sort of thing.
There was all different options. Like you could just go down the water hole and go looking for barra and brim and stuff like that, or right through to a helicopter with a pilot that would fly you down the river. I mean, you could see barramundi basking on the top of the water.
Really?
Land a chopper, take 10 steps, lob a lure in front of it,
Dang.
and don't take it, and bang, you're onto, and then release it and
Move on to another
you
spot.
just take off and you fly along, and there'll be another couple of barra basking, and then but we also
that's
had
pretty
boats.
specialised fishing. That.
We had boats all stationed all around, all over the place, different water holes and sections of the rivers. And so you get people in the morning and you pack them a lunch, get an electric boat motor and a car battery.
Yeah.
Fly out in a helicopter, put all the gear onto the boat, take them out for the day, have a picnic and that at lunchtime. And then the chopper would come in the afternoon and pick you up and take you back. So that was a pretty good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
That's what you call remote fishing.
Yeah. There's the pilot, the customer, and me and my mate, because quite often the pilot was our friend, and he'd ask the person, he'd say, there's 2 spare seats on the chopper, do you mind if these couple of young blokes? And if they didn't mind, he'd go, Matt. So we'd be mowing the lawn or helping with the cattle or whatever, and he'd go, come on, boys. And we jump on the chopper, just drop everything, jump on the chopper and go fishing with these blokes. It's bloody great.
Yeah.
And we stopped at this water hole, and there was a barra and about a 6-foot salty in the hole. The bloke cast, hooked the barra, and as he's reeling it in, the croc chased the barra.
Yeah.
So me and my mate had started walking around this hole, and the croc jumped up out on the rocks, and they're pretty agile, and there's these big smooth river rocks, and this thing's bounding across the river rock. The bloke's throwing the rod, jumped on the helicopter, and him and the pilot took off.
Really?
Left me and my mate there. And we're like, and this croc's turned around, had a look at us, and he got back in the water. We're like, shit. So we ran away and away from the water hole, and the pilot come down, picked us up, and we said, yeah, he can have that bloody barramundi. And we got
You nearly become a bloody someone's briefcase.
snapping handbags. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Did you go back for the rod?
Yeah, I think we did. I think that, yeah.
Did you just do one season up there, or did you others?
I was up there for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
You never knew what you're doing. Sometimes you'd be on a stock camp out the middle of nowhere, like pushing cattle. We used motorbikes and horses back then.
Yeah.
And helicopters. But then there was a country road.
Rodeo or something?
No, country road clothing.
Oh, okay.
They shot brochure out there.
Yeah.
So they flew these 9 models in from all around the world, from New York and Paris. And
Really?
they'd never been to...
Anywhere like that before?
Some of them hadn't seen stars because the big cities, the light pollution,
Really?
they can't see stars. And they were just like, oh, wow, I've never even seen...
Yeah, the Kimberley's
Because
pretty
they're only
special
young
for
girls.
that. Yeah.
And...
Stars and the red dirt.
yeah, and...
Sunsets. And
we had the Pentecost River at the time was quite... You had to cross it to get into the station. So I had to get back this old Studebaker up to a loading ramp, drive the Hilux onto the back of the Studebaker, chain it down, drive it through the river, back it onto another loading ramp, and take the Hilux off to keep going to get through to the station.
Wow.
And you got these girls and they go, what's going on? You go, you're all right, mate, all right. And you're chaining this thing down. And
Can we get a helicopter ride, please?
Little crocodiles like on the wash up on the bank. They go, is that a crocodile? Yeah, it's only a baby. We ended up getting me to wear their clothes, and I was so that's the extent. That was sort of the range. 1 minute you're out in the boonies eating corned beef and
doing photo shoots,
highfalutin with top models. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it was all pretty exciting for a young bloke.
What's the biggest fish you caught there?
In Wedge Island,
Yeah,
biggest fish you would have caught at Wedge would have been, sambos are pretty big.
really? Oh, you
Yeah.
get a few sambos there.
Yeah. If you're talking like length and that, and weight, sambos, but big dewies.
Yeah.
Is it renowned for
talking quality,
dewies? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There's no boat ramp at Wedge.
No.
So your nearest boat ramp is
Savannies.
or Lancelin, and that's a fair old motor. I mean, modern boats, it's not that big a thing, but the waters probably don't get as hammered as the closer to the boat ramps.
Yep. Is there a lot of exposed reef around there?
There's a bay that's protected by a reef, but then after that, no, it's very sandy and rocky.
You done any diving up there?
Not for a long time. But we only ever dove in and around the reef that's around the bay.
Yep.
Actually with a hooker. Lots of shells. It is pretty recent.
Yeah, and there's plenty of crays up that way too in there.
Yeah.
Right.
There is the sharks. Yeah, all your nurses and all that as well. Yeah. I remember as a young guy, some blokes put out set lines and we pulled them, and there was a big 6-foot shark on each hook.
You went swimming the next day.
Yeah, but they weren't. Yeah. I think they might have got in a bit of trouble these days because I think some of those shark species were protected. I remember I was on the boat. We were sitting it was a little half cap, and we had our feet in the hatch. And then as the sharks were getting thrown in, some of them still had a wriggling on that. And we quickly got our feet out from the hatch. And
I don't think there's any shortage of them up and down the coast these days either.
No, and I don't think there's any chance of those fishermen getting in trouble because I think a lot of them are passed away now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your best memory? You've obviously been fishing for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
What's your best memory?
45 years, yeah. Oh. So I remember when I was a young bloke at Wedge, just gotten my first rod and reel. I would have been probably 5 or 6 years old. And I said to Dad, I'm going over the beach from our shack because it's only 150 metres down the water.
Yep.
And I said, I'm going to go catch a fish, Dad. And he goes, oh, go and have a try. He goes, but you won't catch bugger all down there, mate. You just be mucking around.
Thanks, Dad.
And I said, yeah, no worries. So over I went. 5 minutes later, come back with a big herring.
Yeah.
Smile ear to ear.
Yeah.
And I was looking at a photo of it the other day. I've got a son. He's very similar, skinny little bugger like I was. It was
It's
amazing.
obviously a pretty special place to you, that up there at Wedge.
Yeah. It's my happy place.
Yeah.
What about a coronation trout that you caught not that long ago, mate?
Yes. Yeah, that was a fish of a lifetime.
Coral Bay treasure.
Yeah, that was a bloody good trip, that one.
I've never seen one before. That was the first time I'd ever seen one.
Just the way they light up when
The
they come out
colour
of the water.
was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were catching mackerel and then that thing comes over the side.
Yeah.
And I thought, what is that?
Mm.
I actually thought it was a coral trout, but
Yeah, I did
the
at
colour
first too,
is
but yeah.
completely different, yeah.
They got a very distinctive tail, don't they?
Oh, just the colour is just incredible. Yeah, I've never seen one like that before.
Pretty good eating too.
I've seen plenty of mahi in that, but you know, the green when they come out of the water and that, but the colour of that, so bright.
The harlequin that we get down here, very similar, and they look magic lit up too when they first come out of the water.
Yeah, you can't beat them when they first come.
Yeah.
And even the purpley colour that you get out of queenies, I know they're not rated as a
Eating a table fish.
I reckon they're fine. I pretty much eat any fish, but talking colours of fish when they come up out of the water, that electric blue and that.
I know, that runs through the face of their...
Yeah.
It's almost got they got those yellow veins running through their blue face.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are a pretty fish.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then their wings are like purple and they are beautiful, aren't they?
They're impressive. Coronation. No, was it coronation?
Yeah, coronation trout.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, because I thought it was a coral trout, but then when it come out and the colour of it, it's like bright reddy orange, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was.
It wasn't a coral trout.
No, and it was pretty. Everyone was pretty impressed.
For the amount of days we went out, I mean, I didn't go out on all the real windy days like you blokes, but to get that many fish in that many days up there was still pretty good.
And bloody lucky, we wouldn't have got half of those fishing days without having that boat.
That sort of
just a
7 metre boat.
For people listening, it's a big catamaran, very capable in wind chop and seas.
Yeah, that day when I went out deep in charter boat and you guys were alongside us out there, when we came back, we thought you guys would have had a bit of fun coming back. But Brad said you come steaming home.
Well, that sitting on 20 knots in a howling, sea breeze. And,
like a sou'wester.
Yeah. And this thing, that was just punching.
I know.
And it was pretty comfy inside. It wasn't really uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
You're going out on days where other blokes just can't. It was a game changer.
Yeah. Absolutely. Not sort of my day to go out there, but you guys didn't have any issues going out there, innit?
Well, I've been on plenty of alley boats and that, and you can do it, but it's just not as comfortable. And it's possibly riskier. You're probably increasing your chances.
Yeah.
But it's more about comfort. You've got a big, heavy fiberglass boat with 2 holes, and it's got that air pocket on the front that really absorbs that banging in. It just makes such a difference.
Yeah, the cat does make a bit of a difference.
Just like a bit of suspension, isn't it?
I've been lucky. Most of the people I go fishing with down here from the Great Southern have been down here long enough and got a lot of experience. So I'm pretty confident in their skills and knowledge, and they do. They factor all this stuff in, you know.
Yeah.
It's great because you feel safe and you know that they've got everything covered and you've got confidence in them. You want to go fishing to have fun.
Well, it's your day off. You want to have a good day, don't you?
And it's costing you money. It's costing you money for your boat, for your fuel. Yeah, you want to make the most of it. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Best camping spot, mate?
I'm going to give you.
Do I have to ask?
Give away my secrets. Probably second on my happy places in the world. So please don't all go there at once and ruin it for me. But it's the more the merrier.
All you have to say is between Albany and Bremer Bay.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll leave it at that.
Go find it yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
If nobody knows where that is, it's in the Great Southern of Western Australia. And it's a lot of coastline and a lot of great fishing spots and camping spots.
We're pretty blessed down here. You can head about 20 minutes out of town and you'll get a beach to yourself. You go a little bit further, you've got free camping. If you're prepared to take all your gear.
Some of the inlets that go from rivers into the ocean are good places
Estuaries,
to go camping, aren't they?
Yeah.
Estuaries, yeah.
So,
which is where we get a lot of our fish from too for the shop.
Well, you get on those estuaries, you got the ocean, you can fish the ocean, you can fish the estuary.
And they open up during the year.
Yeah. You got winds coming from one, you'll find somewhere you can get out of the wind and fish.
Well, you can get everything, can't you? You can actually get prawns, crabs, whiting, bream because of up the river.
If you've got a boat, there's some good spots not too far off the coast that don't get hammered too much, again, because of where the boat ramps are.
Yeah, you don't need a big
the weather.
boat.
You can get a decent feed of reef fish.
Is that what drew you down here? Even though you'd been fishing out of Perth for a long time and you'd been living up there, was when you were thinking about coming down here, was that had a lot to do with it? You obviously knew a bit about down south here. You married an Albany girl, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
When I was young, Perth was like a big country town back in 70s, early 80s. It was a small city. I lived in Padbury.
Yeah, beach fishing. Yeah.
Burns Beach was just nothing. It was bush.
We used to go.
You could go half an hour up the road and then be in bush and see nobody, and the fishing wasn't hammered. There was a lot less rules and regulations. When I left Perth, it was a big city.
Yeah.
Lots of people, lots of houses, lots of pressure on fishing, lots of rules and regulations. Coming to Albany, before we moved here, we used to come here for holidays a lot.
Yeah.
And I started really enjoying and noticing that you catch more. Yeah, and there's less rules.
Yep.
Well, not less rules, but
we didn't have to travel far either.
Not as many restrictions.
Not like you do in Perth.
Not restrictions.
Still got rules, but you just got, the restrictions are.
Well, it's not even so in Perth. A beach that you used to fish,
yeah.
All of a sudden you don't fish it anymore because there's lifeguard towers and 300 people on there, bloody shoulder to shoulder. When I was young, fishing is a really healthy pastime.
Yeah, absolutely.
We used to ride our bikes and go fishing all the time, and instead of hanging around the shops or getting into trouble like a lot of the other kids. So also accessibility too, like in Padbury, you ride your bike down to Hillary's from Padbury in 10 minutes.
Yep.
When we got our licences, you could drive your car down there in 5 minutes.
Yep.
But now, to get from Padbury to Hillary's through traffic lights and traffic and that, 45 minutes to get from Padbury.
Frustrates you.
Maybe if you're used to it, it doesn't frustrate you, but you started really frustrating the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Whereas in Albany, in the same distance, I could be on a beach somewhere that's
no one around.
no one around,
yeah.
and I can and there's fish and so just the way it goes, I suppose.
Yeah.
It is a good place to live. Not that I've done that much of it, but I'd like to do a lot more.
Don't forget your fishing licence because they're all over that. I made that mistake once. 6 squid cost me $200, I think it was,
Wow.
because I
You
had
didn't have your card.
my fishing licence was 2 weeks out of date.
Oh, all right.
I'd missed the renewal.
Yep.
Was told by the fisheries officer.
Bad
He was
luck.
directed by the minister or somebody or
Powers to be.
powers to be. Yeah, that there was to be no
Lenience.
mercy or lenience on it.
Yeah.
I've paid it every year since the inception of the. You know, you can see it's 2 weeks out of date. I said, "Can I pay it right now? Because you can pay it online."
Yep.
He goes, "Don't matter. You
Too
still
late.
get-"
Too late.
Be nice if they had a look at your history and realise that you actually have a licence all
I
that
think
time, but they
something
don't
like
do
that,
things like that.
Maybe maybe a warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want to confiscate your catch. If I'd come in with an esky full of Hueys and stuff like that, obviously
Bit different.
a bit different maybe. But
Are you a lure or a bait man?
bait, if bait goes quiet, sometimes the bite goes quiet with that movement of a lure,
Yeah.
we'll get your bite you wouldn't have got with bait.
Yeah.
So there's a time and a place where either one can be better. And like throwing a slice for a salmon or something like that.
Yeah, that's a bit different.
When salmon are on the chew, they're bloody hell.
Yeah, you use pilchards, but,
Yeah.
well, we've had a lot of success on just throwing metals out.
Oh, yeah. Now, Matt, your outlook on life, I've only known you a couple of years.
Yeah.
You're probably the most excitable bloke I've ever met.
Really?
Yeah, you're up there.
Yeah.
You're always doing something.
Is that from his cricket days with you, mate?
Yeah, played some indoor cricket together. Now you're trying to
The old
start
whackers.
the whackers. Now,
Whitey
now
whackers.
you're trying to start up a bowling team.
Yeah,
That's because he doesn't get enough days to go fishing.
Nah,
that's right.
that's on the raining days and the windy days.
Don't worry, if there's good fishing conditions.
Bugger the bowling.
Well, yeah.
How would you inspire future young fishers to get them into the outdoor lifestyle instead of sitting in front of a TV?
Or a computer
Well-
screen.
All my sons right into their fishing, except Al's a little bit. He was when he was a bit younger. Now he's preoccupied with girlfriend. But my youngest bloke, 11-year-old, my eldest, 24, are both fishing addicted,
Wow.
like the same as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll go fishing at the drop of a hat, any chance you give them. But they just caught the bug. I never pressured them or anything like that.
Yeah.
They just love it. And I think it's a skill. And the more you practice, the better you get, the more fun it is, the more you get into it.
Yeah, when you see him coming over the side of the boat,
Just
you
that.
do get a bit
It
of
is a
kick.
rush.
When my son was about 15 and him and his mate, they were both crazy fishermen. I wasn't even fishing at that time. We did a little bit, but because, I had businesses and all the kids were growing up and that, and he and his son used to hit all the sailing clubs on the Swan River on every weekend, and they would just be on the jetties. They'd sneak in. They'd get out on the jetties where all the boats are, and they'd be throwing lures underneath the jetties, all the moorings. Every new lure that used to come out, brim lure and that, they'd be testing them out, and they'd spend all their money on it,
Yep.
and they just loved it.
Yeah.
And they just stayed out of
Yep.
trouble
Yeah.
by fishing
Yeah.
all the time, and they spent all their money on lures. But they would be catching,
Yeah.
30 to 40 centimetre brim, no worries, over 40,
Oh.
Quite regularly.
And on light gear, a fish like that,
Brimmer.
they're awesome.
Yeah,
so much fun.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. They had all the lightest gear, so your rod would be bent over,
Yeah.
back to your shoelaces
Yeah. So,
nearly,
and take a bit of skill. You got to play it.
and try and get them out from around the pylons and that.
Yeah.
So I think that got them addicted, and they still fish so much these days in their late 20s now. I don't think you lose it.
If you ever get on water, fishable water, and throw a line in, you might think I'm never going to catch nothing here.
Yeah.
But the amount of times you might be there for hours and not catch a thing, but if you do, it's all been worth it. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of blokes like, well, we'll go down the beach and set up and have a picnic and that. As soon as I get there, I'll have a line in the water. I'll just have it out there. It's not that unsociable just
No.
to go and throw a line in. You put your rod holder on the beach and just leave a line out. And there's a good chance you might catch something.
Yeah.
Just get that line in the water and you're in with a chance.
There's not too many beaches in Western Australia where you can't go down and throw a line in and not catch a fish.
No.
And if it's something that interests you, exposing yourself to too great a risk, have a go.
Yeah, well,
Because the rewards could.
the percentage of people, in the state that do fish is quite large. There's because it's such a fun pastime and
Well,
it's so
coastal.
accessible.
It's all coastal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, you do that as much as
I
you
think
can.
we've got an upcoming election, and I think some politicians would do well to think about just how many people do recreational fish
Yeah,
it's
in WA,
incredible.
and so what some of their decisions
Yep.
might be upsetting a few of those people. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that is a thing they should think about a lot because if you think about the amount of fishing stores that we've got in this state, and you think about the population and how spread out it is,
yeah,
and just about everyone lives on the coast, and the amount of people who throw a line in every weekend, and how busy those tackle stores and that are.
yeah,
We wouldn't want to lose too much fishing ground. The things you got to think about too is that we only take, a amount of fish for ourselves and you release the rest. I mean, we release heaps of fish because
that's right.
they're not the size that you want. They're not big enough and you can't do anything with them. So we release them and they all swim away anyway. So until they get bigger and bigger. I mean, we're not everyone's out there to fill their freezers with undersized fish and things like that. As far as I know, all the people that I know who go fishing treat the ocean how it should be treated and, only take what they need to take, and we don't go out there and do silly things, and that's fantastic. I think the majority of the population that do go fishing really respect the ocean and respect our rivers and do the right thing.
I quite often go to a fishing spot and collect a lot of rubbish. We always driving along a beach, I think is a great thing to be able to do. But there's a big group of people out there that don't think you should drive on beaches.
You always care for them. You look after
That's right.
Yeah.
And
But if you're driving along the beach picking up a bag full of rubbish every time,
is that better for the environment than not driving on the beach and letting the rubbish collect?
That's right. There's pros and cons to everything, and do those pros and cons outweigh each other?
Unfortunately, in this world, there's boats out in the ocean.
Plastic straws.
Going around the world everywhere. Yeah. Some people want to bring plastic straws back, don't they? Someone who got elected recently.
Yeah.
That's a laugh. Isn't it?
That's the laugh of the day. Well, let's see what he comes out with tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Fishing stories.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you got plenty, but you can't always think of them at the one time.
When you're putting your boat in the water of your beach launching, make sure it's deep enough. Don't drop your boat if it's too shallow. Because I've seen that.
And put your handbrake on too.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
that helps.
And also, blokes jumping off the front of a boat and it's deeper than what they think.
No.
They jump off thinking they're going to walk in and they go bloop, straight down the bottom underwater. That's pretty funny. I've seen that happen a few times.
I've seen a bloke, he got a boat, first time he took it out, unhooked it all at the top of the ramp, started backing down the ramp, on the ramp.
Yeah.
And the boat took off.
No.
Just dropped the boat on the ramp.
Dropped the boat on the ramp.
Was it a glass boat or?
No, it's alley.
Yeah. Well, still not good, but yeah.
That was pretty
Doesn't
funny.
do much for your motor, does it?
Nah.
And in this day and age, like the mobile phones are going to come out.
Yeah.
You're going to be famous.
You'll end up on YouTube or Instagram or something or other. What sort of meal would you or dish would you recommend us to eat, mate? Either seafood or not?
I'm going to probably have my favourite tonight. I've got a bit of coral trout.
Have you?
Yeah. Thawed out, so just with a bit of salt and pepper and butter in the frying pan.
Has to be seafood, doesn't it?
Yeah. Garlic, butter, seafood.
Just a whole stainless steel tin worth of crab. You're just there
Nice
for
salad.
hours. Yep.
Yeah.
Salad.
Yeah, nice salad on the side, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have a bit of...
Decoration.
Yeah.
Don't have to eat it.
Come on, chunk.
You got to have a bit of salad or a bit of veggies or something.
All right, thanks for talking with us, Matt.
Oh, no worries. That's it, is it?
Yep.
I
That's
thought I was going to have to do it.
well, you can talk for as long as you want, mate. We're here. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Happy fishing.
Yeah.
Get back out there and enjoy it with your son.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, Chunk. Thanks, Chippy.
Thanks, Matt.
good on you, Matt.
Good on you, guys.
Appreciate it.